Okay, if this is your first time in Maya, you're probably like, whoa, that's a lot of buttons. That's a lot of menus. Look at all this menu stuff. And if I go to another one, a whole different set of menu options. And it goes on and on. Maya is very deep and powerful, but it's kind of overwhelming at first. So just take a deep breath and let's learn some hotkeys. Why hotkeys? If you want to be good at all at Maya, you've got to learn the hotkeys. And so I'm going to be teaching you hotkeys, and I do expect you to learn them. You will not be good at Maya if you don't learn the hotkeys. I can promise you that. There will be a quiz on hotkeys at the end of this unit. Okay, so let's learn some hotkeys. Our first hotkey is Alt. If I hold down Alt and then use the left mouse button, I can rotate. Pretty cool, but let's put a cube in there so we can kind of see what we're doing. There we go. Now we have this polygon cube, and we're holding down Alt and the left mouse button. Memorize that. And then I don't have to hold down a button, but if I just use my middle mouse wheel, I can scroll in. If you don't have a 3-button mouse, I highly recommend you get one. You don't have to have one, but I recommend it. So that's just the middle mouse scroll wheel. Also, if I hold down Alt and use the right mouse button, I can do the same thing. I can zoom. Okay? So practice those, memorize them. Again, that's Alt, left mouse button to rotate, middle mouse scroll to zoom, or Alt, right mouse to zoom. There you go, your first hotkey. Great job. Okay, now what if I want to move the object and not the viewport? Great question. Introducing 3 new hotkeys right next to each other on the keyboard, W, E, and R. If I hit W, you notice over here I get a different tool. This is called the Translate tool, or Move tool. And now I can translate my object around in space. And there are 3 axes you'll need to remember. And we'll talk about them over and over. I will reiterate these things, especially in these first couple units. I'm going to constantly talk about the hotkeys and what the axes are and what the names of components are. So don't worry, if in the first lesson you don't remember everything, I will be reiterating it, but by the end I expect you to memorize all of it, okay? So, Move tool. Up next is E, and that's the Rotate tool. So now I can rotate my object on various axes. And what are the axes? They are X, Y, and Z, and we'll explain that later and more. And then finally I have a Scale tool, R, and I can scale it all at once if I click in the middle, or I can scale it on different axes in space. All right, I can create all kinds of objects with this. Again, Alt, and use the right mouse button to move around. I've now got this really cool object. It's not that cool. Okay, so that's that. And we're going to have a part 2 of this where we keep going over the user interface. There's quite a bit to it, but that's your basic navigation in the viewport. Practice it over and over until it just becomes like breathing or playing a video game. I'll see you in the next one.